Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for you guys today, I'm just going to be doing a very easy, very simple, very basic type video, but they're also some of the videos that I enjoy watching the most on YouTube, and that is an eyeshadow collection video. And basically I'm doing this, I want to do these like 2 or 3 times a year just to see how much money I'm putting into my collection. It's kind of going to be like a monitoring my beauty purchases type thing. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, please do not forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And with that being said, let's get into the video as soon as I figure out how to do this. Okay, so don't mind this mess behind me, like I'm cleaning. And if you have ever cleaned your room before, especially if you've ever shared your room before, you know things get much worse before they get better. So right here I have my, Alex 9 drawers, and I have, 1, 2, 3 drawers with eyeshadow palettes. So we're going to start with the affordable eyeshadow palettes first. So the first couple ones I have back here are from Juvia's Place. This one is the Nomad palette. I feel like you guys cannot see that at all. It looks very dark in the camera, but like it has these really pretty like mustardy tones right here, and then like this dark green. Maybe I should move you. Okay, I don't know how much this is gonna help with like color saturation and everything. That kind of helps, but this is the Nomad palette. I really like the shimmery shades in here, and I like the color story. So I have this one, and then I also have the Nubian. Yeah, the Nubian by Juvia's Place in here. And this one's like a very like warm toned neutral palette, which I love. Pretty much all of my palettes are neutral palettes. And I love the artwork that Juvia's Place comes up with. It's very like, I don't know, I just like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so the next one is like my single shadows from ColourPop. I just depotted a bunch of my palettes from there. So we have like a mix of It's My Pleasure, Going Coconuts, Night Owl, the Anna palette, Just My Luck. Yeah, we have all those palettes like kind of mixed in here. And this is an AOA Studio magnetic palette. But again, I really like this palette, and I have it like sorted. So all of my matte shades go from like pretty much from darkest to light, and then it's separated from mattes are at top and then shimmers are on the bottom. And I just like it like that. It makes my mind happy. But there's that one. And then this next one isn't technically like just drugstore, but I didn't have another single shadow palette that would hold them, and this one does have like affordable eyeshadows in it as well. So this one is, again, it's kind of sorted by like shimmers and mattes. So I have all of these shimmer shades on these top 2 rows, and then these are all matte shadows. And this bottom row right here, this is the Kylie Bronze Extended palette. So there's 7, and then these 5 shimmer shades right here are from that palette as well. The rest of them are AOA Studio singles. But yeah, I reach for this palette quite a bit. I actually reach for my single shadows more than I reach for my like big, like the rest of my palettes, just because like I like them a lot. This next one is a Morphe palette, and I know that Morphe is like it's a really controversial brand, especially like right now because of everything going on with Jeffree Star. So I don't know how to feel about them. I'm not going to be buying like any more of their products other than like what I already have. But some of these, like I got one of these in a BoxyCharm. I bought the other one when I bought a brush set, which I placed the order before everything with Jeffree Star kind of like blew up. But I have this, what is this? This is the Artistry palette. It's the 18F palette from Morphe, and this has got like a lot of purpley, pinky toned neutrals, which I quite like. Like, I really, really like this shade right here. Like, that's a really pretty color. Okay, but yeah. So, I really like this palette, and I find that, like, most of Morphe's shimmers as well are actually, like, quite nice. Can you see that okay? Like, I really like this palette. I haven't really used it on my eyes yet, but from what I can tell with the swatches and everything, I think it's going to be pretty pigmented, pretty cute. It's going to be good for... I hate these little plastic freaking sheets, though. How hard is it to put the shade names on the palette? Am I reading it upside down now? Got it. Okay, there's that one. And then this one is a collab palette with Manny MUA. This is the Morphe Manny MUA Glam palette. And again, like, it has really pretty highlighty shades, which would be good. This is the one that I got in a BoxyCharm. It's supposed to be in the premium box, and I finally canceled it, and I'm not getting it back because I'm just so sick of getting, like, random palettes that are not in the color story that I asked for. But then, like, this shade, that wasn't a very good swatch. It's just, like, a really pretty, kind of silky matte shade. So yes, you're gonna see, like, a repeating pattern here. I like greens, I like browns, I like purples, mainly greens and browns. I have another Morphe palette in here somewhere, right here. This one is, like, my oldest Morphe palette, and it's also my favorite one. So this is the Morphe 9B Bronze Babe Artistry palette. Can you, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see. Can you see, like, I have gone in on this palette. This is, like, a very, very beautiful palette. If, for whatever reason, like, you're interested in trying something from Morphe, I would definitely suggest not buying, like, their bigger palettes, but going for, like, the ones that are, like, 18 shades or 9 shades. Don't buy their big, ginormous palettes, because they have a lot of repeat shades in there, which makes it not worth it. But if you're like me and not buying anything from Morphe, don't worry about it, because you're not going to buy anything. Let's do this brand. Next. So, I have this Milani Gilded Nudes palette. This is also a really, really pretty neutral palette. I actually did a video with this for my full face Milani products. So you guys can go watch that if you'd like. I would appreciate it. It needs more views, more love. But yeah, the shimmers in here, I think these are really, really, they're so good. And this is drugstore. I'm not saying it's affordable because it's kind of not. It's $20, but it is drugstore. So it's, like, more readily available to most people than what other eyeshadow brands could be. So I have the Milani Gilded Nude, and then I also heard that these two palettes were going out of stock. So I have the Milani Soft and Sultry, which is, like, a cool toned palette. And if you can still find it on their website, I would recommend it. It's only, like, $10 right now, which isn't bad for Milani. Plus, the packaging is really nice. I mean, like, look at, there you are. And then I also have the Pure Passion palette, which is warm toned neutrals, and I like those kind of colors. So, we're only at 4 minutes. Sorry, every time I have to lean really close to, like, my phone, because that's what I record on, is my phone. I don't have, like, a fancy setup or anything. You guys are standing on my busted up tripod, which is balanced on one of, like, those 3-drawer thingies. So yeah, don't break, you stupid. Oh, you know what? This made me remember. Hold on. Where is it? Got him. I got one. Touch your balls. Where are you? Ugh. Sorry, I keep all of like my single shadows and like my little itty bitty quads in another drawer because I don't have that many. But I have 2 of these e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. I have, what is this one called? Cream and Sugar. And this one, it has got like a very like pale, very good like lid / transition shade, and a darker for your outer corner shade, and then you have like 2 lids colors. I really like this palette. I've worn this palette to work a couple of times, and every single time I wear it, sorry, my hair's falling on me, I'm shedding really bad. Every time I wear this palette to, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Every time I wear this palette to work, I get compliments on it, just because like the shimmers in here are to die for. Oh. Oh. Do you see that? They're metallic! It's beautiful! And then the other one I have is Truffles. This one, again, I wear it quite a bit to work. It is more cool toned. This one really only has 1 shimmer shade, and it's like the silver color. This darker shade right here is like a matte with glitter in it, which I'm not a big fan of, but this is a really, really pretty cool toned palette. Okay, so the next palette I have is also another e.l.f. one. This one is the new classics one. It looks like this. It is a mainly like neutral palette, but it does have some like cooler tone shades, and you have a couple of like warmer tone shades, and then you also have like a couple pops of color in here, mainly with this row of shimmery shades right here. These are what are going to add like the dimension to your eyes, but this is a really, really good palette from the drugstore. Again, if you want something that's like affordable from e.l.f., I would definitely go for the bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. Those are only like $3 or $4. This one is like $18, so like, again, it's not really affordable. I feel like the drugstore is becoming more and more expensive. The only thing that really makes it drugstore is the fact that it's more widely, like, readily available compared to like a lot of the things that are online, like ColourPop. Because ColourPop is affordable, but it's not drugstore. I have opinions on that. Again, with the hair, Jesus. Okay, so, speaking of ColourPop, other than like all of those single shadows I showed you, I do have one more palette from them. This is the Flutter by palette, and I should reach for this more often because it is still like available on their website, but I think what keeps me from going for it are like these 2 pressed glitter shades in here. I despise pressed glitters. It is the bane of my existence. But the rest of this palette's really, really pretty. Apparently, it's brown. So, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. To me, it looks like it's purple. But apparently, it's like cool tone browns.
Can I say hi?
I don't care. So, there's that palette.
You can't see me. It's too good.
Listen, you just have to bend down like that.
No. My head looks so big.
Okay. Next is, I'm gonna do, let's do this. Okay, so I have this CoverGirl palette. This is the True Naked Chocoholics palette. Still smells really good. Still smells like chocolate. This thing is also beat into. For a really long time, this was like my only neutral palette that I had. My mom got me this for Christmas in 2018. She also got me the peach one, but Connie has the peach one now because I don't wear peachy colors on my eyes. I don't like them. But I love this palette, and I will keep it till the day I die, just because of the fact that my mom got it for me, and it's the only piece of makeup I have that somebody else has gotten for me or anything. Was that supposed to mean something?
Exactly, yes. Good
What?
job. Okay, so when I went to Five Below, I got you that makeup.
Okay, you did get me some makeup from Five Below, and I kept it for a while. Like, I had it for a solid year.
About a month.
No, I had it for like a year. And I never used it. And I told you, I said I won't get rid of it if you don't want me to, but I'm never going to use it because I couldn't see the colors.
Oh.
Remember that?
No.
It was so pale,
Oh.
I couldn't see it. So, yeah, I never used it, and I eventually, like, got rid of it. Also, the mirror broke. Remember?
Who cares what I do? Who cares about the mirror?
Okay, moving on. I do have a couple more, like, traditional drugstore palettes. These are the Wet n Wild, like, 10 pan. This one is in Comfort Zone. Lovely. Lovely shades of brown. And, like, I think that looks like it's blue. It might be not.
That is.
Blue.
No, it's like a dark blue.
Well, whatever. You have your pops of color in here, which will give you, like, more versatility with this palette. It's $5. Great drugstore option if you want it. This one is Nude Awakening. Delicious. Look at those colors. Shimmer. Let's swatch the shimmer again. Like, for drugstore, these are some of the best eyeshadow palettes that there are at, like, traditional drugstores. If you buy Wet n Wild, though, do not, just don't do it. Do not buy their big, like, their 32 pan eyeshadow palette. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's gross. You don't need it. Don't buy it. You won't like it more than likely. So, buy these. They're better. Next, I have some from C Color Cosmetics. I actually have, like, 4 of these. I have the Golden Palette, which is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette. It's really, really pretty. It's really, really affordable. This is only like $8 on their website. Plus, you have free shipping over, I think it's orders of 35 or more. So lots of shimmers. Like, there's only 5 mattes in this palette, but it is stunning. Absolutely stunning. No. These two, look at that. They're really, really pretty. So I have that one, and then I have the Savannah palette, which looks like this, also being a klutz. This one is an all matte palette. I actually did a video with this. The one thing I will say about C Color Cosmetics formula is that it is really, really dusty. If you don't like dusty eyeshadows, sorry. I just realized also that you can probably hear the fan in the background, and I do apologize for that. It's 90 degrees where I live, and my room is even hotter than that. So the fan's staying on. I'm sorry, the window has to be open. But if you don't like dusty eyeshadows, you're not gonna like this formula. But if you don't mind like tapping it off and doing your eyeshadow first, these are really, really lovely. They're really pigmented, and they blend really easily too. It's just they're really, really dusty. So there's that. And then I also have the Glamour palette from them, which is a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This is basically like a palette of warm-toned neutrals. It's beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. I love. I live. And then I also have the Prestige palette, which is a dupe for Soft Glam. Yes, why do you have a picture of Luna?
Because.
Just really, really, really pretty. Let's do this one, this one. Can't see. So there's that one, and then you guys see that okay? And then they are just really, really lovely eyeshadows for like $8. Again, I emphasize $8. These ones are cheaper than ColourPop is. Continuing on to the rest of like my drugstore palettes. I have one palette that is no longer available, and I am really, really sorry that it's no longer available because I do really enjoy it. And that is the Artistry palette from Bad Habit. You guys can't even see how like beautiful this palette packaging is. This is a dupe for the Mario and Anastasia Beverly Hills collab. From what I understand, I don't have that palette. I never had that palette. I couldn't tell you for myself. But it is a really, really pretty palette. But I'm going to move on because no longer available. I'm not going to show you guys if you can't purchase it. The last 4 palettes I have in my drugstore or more affordable eyeshadow palette drawer are from Alter Ego. Alter Ego is coming out with the Artemis palette. I'm buying it like right now. I love how it looks online. But anyway, this one is the Temptress palette from them. It is a dupe for the Sultry palette. Lots of shimmers. It's pretty cool toned. Like there's like this like gray color here. Like this darker shade. And then let's swatch some of the shimmery shades. Their formula is really nice, and like these are also pretty affordable. This one is like $14, I think. The rest of them are like $16. Like, bam, baby, bam. Wipe that off now. I'm sorry, I'm such an idiot, you guys. I really am. The next 3 palettes I have from them are the Sahara palette, which is one of my go-to neutral shades, like palettes. It's a dupe for the Natasha Denona Biba palette, and I really like this palette. It's mostly neutrals, but like the shimmery shades you do have in here make, I don't know, they add enough like versatility to the palette to make it like really, really worth it. It's not just like your standard neutral palette. You have like your lighter neutrals, you have your darker neutrals, and then you have like these 3 really, really pretty shimmery shades. I would 10 out of 10 recommend that one. I also have the Goddess palette, which is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold. I think it's a dupe for the Gold palette. Right here. And this one you have more shimmers than mattes. These 2 columns, this one and this one, are mattes. These 3 columns, the other 3 columns, are shimmers. Again, really, really pretty. Like this blue grungy shade is, I really like using this in the outer corner and then putting, where is it? Like this Artemis shade right there in my lid or on my lid. I wonder, hold on, quick break. What's the Savannah? Yeah, so I have 2 dupes for the Natasha Denona Gold palette, and I just realized it. So there's what they look like. They are really, really similar. looking. I would definitely say, like, formulation, I prefer Shop Alter Ego compared to C Color, just because this one's not as dusty and it's as pigmented, but this one is more affordable, so I don't mind either one of them. They're both really, really good. And then my last drugstore palette / affordable palette is the Aurora palette from Alter Ego, and this one is a dupe for the, I think it's the Sunrise palette, but this one's not even like warm tone neutrals, it's just warm. Like, this thing looks like it could be set on fire. It's all reds and golds and yellows and oranges, and it's really, really, really pretty. I haven't actually used this one yet, so I can't tell you like how it performs, but there are some swatches if you guys were wondering what it swatches like. And that is all of the affordable eyeshadows. Alright, so the next drawer is all of my high-end palettes. I do have more expensive palettes than I do drugstore palettes, but I also feel like the high-end palettes come out with like more items, and I realize it's just because they want my money, but I do really enjoy like the formulations of a lot of these. So the first couple of palettes I have in here are, what is it called? From Colored Rain. It is an indie brand. It's also black owned, and Hannah from Smoky Glow made me buy this one. This one is the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. It is beautiful. It has lovely like soft matte packaging, and it's stunning. Okay, look at them apples. Look at them. Look at those. They are beautiful. Beautiful, okay? Like, beautiful. So, like, I really, really like this shade right here, which is Air. And then I really, really like Noble Woman. It's like a dark reddish colored shimmer. And then I also really like Empress. Right there. Beautiful, stunning, love. I live for this palette. I wore it to work one day and I got all kinds of compliments about it, and it's really, really good. If you guys have got the money to spend on a good like neutral palette that's not a boring neutral palette, I would go with this one. You'd also be supporting a really good brand. As I mentioned, it is indie owned, it's female owned, and it's black owned. So it's a female black owned creator who made her own line. I don't know. You guys get what I mean. Good stuff. Also from that palette, that brand, I have, this one is the Beauty Rust palette. I haven't used this one yet. It still has like the plastic on it. But it looks really, really pretty. Like, this is, I don't know. But it's really pretty. My one concern with it is the fact that there is only like one shimmer shade in here, and it's a pretty dark shimmer shade. Like, I mean, I realize that you can use a darker shimmer shade for more than like shimmer, like, I don't know. I just worry that it's gonna be like a one-tone, like one look palette, and I don't like one look palettes. I like to get a couple of different looks even out of my smaller palettes. Where is it? I have another palette from Colored Rain in here somewhere. I just gotta find it. That's hurt. Hold on. Okay, I found it. This is the Colored Rain Power Palette. I love this. I 1000% really, I love this palette. Like, I hate the mirrored packaging because it keeps blinding you. But it's a really pretty neutral, or not neutral, it's a purple palette, okay? And these purples blend like a dream, an absolute dream. They are really, really easy to put on the eye. They will blend even like over a wet base. They're harder to blend over a wet base, but they do blend over a wet base. They are a little bit dusty, because it is like a more, the drier formula. But So good. So good. That's a shit shot. I can't talk anymore. There it is. But just really, really pretty. It's amazing quality. This is the palette I did my video from yesterday in, which was, I can't even remember the title. It's about Jeffree Star. But yeah, I really, really like this palette. Let me wipe off my hands again. Okay, so moving on. This is the Pure Festival palette. I got it in a BoxyCharm. This is kind of the palette that made me decide to cancel my BoxyCharm just because, like, when am I gonna wear this? There's like a freaking hot pink in here and like 2 blues. I don't wear those colors hardly ever. It's not like a bad formula, it's just the fact that I don't wear these colors that often, like, if at all. And the fact that, like, I put into my BoxyCharm profile that I like neutral tones. This is a neutral palette. This is like almost a neutral palette, but not. It's too bright, it's too blue, it's too pink, it's just too much for me. So I'm not, I don't know, I might declutter that one at some point. Next, I have my 2 Lunar Beauty palettes. I have the Greek Goddess palette, backwards. The Greek Goddess palette. I really, really love this palette. The only shade in here I don't like is Calliope. It's not good. It's really, really dusty. It's really, really hard to blend, and the fallout on it, even after a few hours, is disgusting. It's awful. But the rest of these are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like, the mattes are really, really soft. They're really, really pigmented. You know, look at that. Look at that. I love it. This was for a while my go-to palette. Because pretty much I will take like 1 or 2 palettes downstairs to my bathroom with me. And this was one of them for a while. Like, I used this palette almost exclusively for a while. And look at the packaging. I love it.
I don't want to make my bed.
I'm so sorry. Be quiet, please. The next one is the Moonspell palette, and I bought this one because I thought, one, I was really gonna like the colors in here because it is like a purpley green and neutral palette, which I love. But I find myself just mostly like taking it out and staring at it because look at the packaging. It's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. I really enjoy it. The formula is not bad in here either. It's the same as the Greek Goddess palette. But I just don't find myself reaching for it as often as I do the Greek Goddess palette. So I really like this palette, but not as much as the other one. Okay, so the next ones are all of my KKW Beauty eyeshadow palettes. I'm not really going to open these. I'm just going to show you which ones I have just because I just about a month ago did a ranking all my KKW Beauty palettes. So go watch that video as well, please and thank you. This is the Soulfire palette from her brand. It is really, really lovely. It's like really warm toned, reddish, orangey neutrals, but still very brown. This is the Cocoa Matte palette. Again, it's like warm toned browns, but there's no shimmers. And the mattes in here, like her mattes are really, really soft. And they blend really, really easily. So I really like them. And then I have, this is the Artist and the Muse palette. One of her second collab. It was her second collab with Mario. I also have the original collab. And then I have, this is Classic 2. This is one of her new, this is her new release. I just got this palette like about a month ago. I really, really like it a lot. Because it's very, very cool toned. And then we have the Classic original one, which is more warm toned. I want to get the Classic Blossom palette. I don't have the money right now, and I have more important things other than eyeshadow to buy. As much as it pains me to say that. I also have the 3 Celestial Sky palettes. These are also I mean, they're okay. Like, they're not my favorite just because of how small they are. But we have Night Sky, which is this one. We have, this one is Sierra Sunset. The All Shimmers, and this one is Bronze Heaven then. I like this one the best out of the three, but again, not my favorite. Then we're going to move on to my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. The first one I ever got was the Riviera palette, and this one does have like this hot pink shade in here. But I find if I mix it with like these colors here, it diffuses out into a not so vibrant shade, which makes me quite happy. Also, there's that purple in there, which I love this palette. It's so good. Did I not put any eyeshadow on that one? I did, just not a whole lot. The swatches are not very good, but the palette itself is really, really pretty. So that was the first one I ever got. I got it at TJ Maxx for like half off. Yay, bargain hunting. I love going to TJ Maxx. I am actually trying to avoid going there right now, specifically so I don't buy more makeup that I don't need, but that I always really, really want. Okay, so next is the Jackie Aina palette collab that she did with Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I bought this one specifically because of Julia Mazzucato. She talks nonstop about this palette, so I'm like, I'm gonna get it, because there are like a lot of like pretty shades in here that I do like. I will say that this palette is kind of hard to blend, like, because the colors are so rich in pigment. The formula is kind of a little bit drier than like their normal ones. It doesn't want to blend as easily, it doesn't want to go on as easily, so I think this formula is different than like the Riviera or the other two palettes I have. It's not a bad palette, but it definitely, like, it's not beginner friendly either. And then I also have the Modern Renaissance palette. I love this thing. Oh my goodness, I love it, I love it, I love it so much. I wish they would go back to the fuzzy packaging, because it's just an experience that you need to have. It feels so good when you touch it. I love it. But I also really love the color stories in here. It's just really, really pretty. Again, my only issue with Anastasia's like formula in this palette and Soft Glam, which I also have, is the fact that it's super dusty. Like, it's really, really powdery, but it blends really well because of that, and it's really easy to blend because of that, and it's also really pigmented, so like I kind of understand why. I just kind of wish it was like more firmly pressed, because as long as it was buildable, I think you would still be able to get like the same kind of looks out of that. So there's that one. And then, as I mentioned, I do have Soft Glam. I bought this one because my Arabesque palette from Bad Habit died, and I didn't have a dupe for it at the time, so I ended up buying this one, and I really do enjoy it. But these two palettes, I feel like, are classic to most people's collections. They are, at the time, they were really groundbreaking, and the formula is still, like, spot on gorgeousness. Okay, so the next palette I have in here is actually Too Faced. It's the Too Faced Natural Mattes palette. I got this one in a BoxyCharm. I do really enjoy this palette, but I don't support the brand. Like, I won't buy directly from them and give them my money just because of the crap they pulled with Nikki Tutorials, but this is a really good basic palette. I have the Tartelette Toasted palette. I love this thing so much. It's really, really buildable. Like, it's not overly pigmented, and they are like basic neutral shades, but they're basic neutral shades that are really well done. And the shimmers in here are something else. Like, they're a little bit drier, but they go on spectacularly. So I really do like this palette. Yes, you can see that. It's a really pretty palette. I also have the Tartist Pro palette, which I also got in a BoxyCharm, and I'm debating whether or not I'm ever going to use this thing, or if I should just give it to one of my friends, because I like the color story in here. It is like a more cool tone neutral, but the pans kind of bug me, because you have like squares and circles, and I don't like that. I would have preferred just like one or the other, and I realize like that this is the stupidest thing to be annoyed about, but I don't know. I really like the colors, and this smells really good, and it's a really pretty color. I'm probably going to keep it. Who am I kidding? Okay, so the next palette I have in here is the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. This was actually in like my product regrets video last year, and I've changed my mind again. I don't hate this palette. What I hate in here is this row of pressed glitters and this like sequin shades, because these sequin shades have got glitter in them. You would expect the glitter to actually show up when you put it on your eyes and blend it out. It doesn't stay. It like poofs. It disappears. So I don't like that. But if these two rows were like, if this row right here and this row, these two rows, if they were taken out, I would absolutely love this palette. But I don't like those two rows. But I do use this palette quite a bit. Like, what is this one? Soothe Matte. This really light brown shade. It's like a beautiful transition shade. This Aura color is really pretty for setting down like your base if you need to. And then you have like a really pretty black, a darker brown, a more orangey tone, and then like a redder brown color. It's beautiful. I love it so much. And then I also have this iconic London Day to Slay eyeshadow palette. Again, really pretty neutrals. The shimmers are popping. The thing I hate about this thing is the packaging, because it is so bulky. It's unnecessarily so. And it makes it really hard to store. But like the formula is, it's really good. Really good. I actually really love it. Where did my makeup go? I want to do a swatch. Can't do swatches with dirty, grubby fingers. Now, can we? No, we cannot. That one. There's that one. Let us do that one. Bam, baby. Bam. It's really pretty. I really enjoy it. I just don't like the packaging. And if you guys want like just one palette that's going to give you several different looks, because this one has got like a good mix of darker mattes and lighter tone mattes and shimmers, you can get several different kinds of looks out of this. It is kind of expensive though, if I'm not mistaken. It was $58. And I don't know if I'd pay that much for it, just because there are so many other palettes that will do similar things for you. But if you just want like one high-end palette, that's a good one. I also have this Ace Beauté Scarlet Dusk palette. It kind of gives me like a mix of Modern Renaissance and the Aura palette from Alter Ego, because it is so bright, but it is a indie brand, and I haven't used it yet. I want to, but I keep forgetting. And then my last palette in the high-end drawer is this Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I love this thing. But again, I don't support the brand openly on my channel, and I won't give them directly my money. So I got this one at TJ Maxx. I wouldn't buy it from them, so we're not showing you that palette, really. Moving on. Alrighty, so we're gonna hurry up and do this like last drawer, which only has like 4 palettes in it because my phone's getting ready to die. So yes, with that being said, let's get into here. I have just like a couple of eyeshadow palettes in here. They're mostly my bigger palettes. So I do have the Morphe James Charles palette still. I actually hardly ever reach for this palette. I only keep it because of the fact it has pretty much every primary color and some offshoot of that primary color in here. which means if I need like a color that isn't like brown, I can go in here and get it. So I do keep it for that purpose. This one is the Wet n Wild 40 palette, which is supposed to be a dupe for it. It's not. It's like a good companion palette, and I actually gave this one to Connie, but she doesn't have any area to store this really, so it stays in my drawers. But this is also a really pretty palette. It was limited edition, but really pretty. A palette that shall not be named because we no longer support him on this channel. You guys can probably see. I'm gonna show you guys anyway really quick. This is the Alien palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and I will not use this one on my channel anymore. I hardly ever use it anymore, like in my personal life. But this was my first eyeshadow palette that I bought for me, and because of it, despite who the creator of this thing is, I'm never gonna throw away this palette. It has too much sentimental value. So there's that one. And then the last eyeshadow palette I have in my entire collection is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 2 palette. This snaps. This palette snaps. It's so good. Every time I wear it out, like, I mainly stick to like these two rows here, which are like purples and pinky orangey red or pinky red shades, and then like this top neutral row. Every time I wear this palette out, I get so many compliments on it. Like, say what you will about Jaclyn Hill, say what you will about Morphe, this palette is bomb. I love it so much. But yes, so this is the last palette in my collection. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I would very much greatly appreciate it for this channel. If you did, as I am trying to hit 200 subscribers, and when I hit 200 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. So, yes. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!